Hello everyone, Firecrest Gaming here and welcome back to another video. We're back now for the second part of the Porsche DLC review. And yep, 3 more to go. And then it is the March DLC pack itself. So beginning this one with another Porsche 911. I said I picked 6 cars and 4 of them ended up to be Porsche 911s, I believe. 4? Was it? Yeah, 4 because one was a racing version, 3 road going. Such originality. I didn't want to choose any other cars because I didn't really want to drive the slowest ones, and the race cars I wouldn't have much to say on LMP cars, so kind of this is what we ended up with in the end, I'm afraid. So yeah, 911 Turbo. Again, some good handling, not brilliant, I must say. Felt quite understeery in places. It felt like it didn't want to turn in. It felt heavy on the steering. Although that is a thing though I wanted to talk about though for Forza 6. I don't know, it was a little bit annoying having to record this because the handling was starting to get on my nerves. Because I play, obviously you know that I like Forza Horizon 2 a lot, and you also know that I play F1 2015 a fair bit, and both of those games have quite rapid handling, quite light handling as such, where you can really turn the car into the corner really sharply and it changes direction where you want it to. This game is kind of more realistic than both of those. Well, actually no, I'd say Formula 1's quite realistic, but it's just because F1 cars are so light on their feet. When you end up going to road cars and driving them around circuits, it doesn't, I don't know, it just ends up being really heavy and a bit annoying. So hopefully I'll get on top of that, but the Porsche, it's pretty good. This one was in A class, I believe. Was it S? I think it's either A or S. And, yeah, certainly wasn't bad. However, the same can't be said of one of this thing's higher class cars. And it's this, the Porsche GT2 RS. I mentioned this in the last one. This thing tried to kill me. I took this around the Nürburgring for the lap, obviously for the recording. And the first corner of the Nürburgring broke into it, and the back end went immediately. It slid basically into turn 1. It was horrible to drive on the day. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what on earth this car was doing with itself, but overall, this thing wasn't that nice to drive. It was a lot more lighter on its feet, but now the problem is the back end was everywhere. It was all over the show. Literally, if this car was a dog, its tail would be wagging all the time. It was all over the show, going left, right, centre. A lot of the time, it was really hard having to do this lap and try and keep the car in check. It was quick, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. This was probably one of the fastest, probably the fastest 911 that I drove, excluding the Flying Lizard, because obviously that's a race car. But this one, it's the fastest road-going 911 that I drove in the pack, and I'm pretty sure it is the fastest road-going 911 that's in the pack. But it's just not nice to drive. It's all over the show, and I don't like a car that I don't like the feel. If I don't like the feel of a car, I'm going to get all out of shape. I'm not going to drive it. I'm pretty sure you saw there at the exit of the Schumacher S's, the back end was out. And it wasn't acting the way I wanted it to. It was all over the place. Honestly, I just wanted to get this lap over with. Luckily, we managed to get it clean enough. Coming up now into the final sector. Not too bad. It's just... This was particularly quick and quite scary as well. That small kink was scary enough to drive through, let alone half of the rest of the corners. So into the chicane for the final time. Well, the one and only time. What am I saying? This isn't a race. So, honestly, I think it's best just to move on from this car and head on to the final car that I'd want to review. And this is easily my favourite car from the car pack. And I'm going to explain why, because this was a bit of a difficult one. And it's this, the Porsche 918 Spider. This is an interesting car for me. I've always had a bit of a grudge against this car, And it's because it was trying to compete with the LaFerrari and the P1. Both of those cars I love. The McLaren is fantastic in its technology, and the Ferrari looks the best, it sounds the best, and it's just fantastic. But I can't deny a few things about this car. It is very, very fast. I can certainly agree with that. The way it was darting into corners, really, it wanted to push in. And it really, particularly, there's no place I could have taken it. I had to take it around Abu Dhabi at night. I can't deny that round Abu Dhabi, the car looked absolutely gorgeous. I love just all with the camera shots as well, showing it off in the replay cameras. It just looks gorgeous going around the circuit. The shine off the metallic colours as well, and the noise is, well, have a listen. Now, how's that for an engine? Engine's lovely. Car looks great. I really should have stopped having a grudge against this car a while ago. But this is actually one of the highest rated cars in the pack. It's about a middle of R class. I believe this was rated higher than the GT3 RSR, the Flying Lizard car, that I reviewed last time. Now that is saying something. If this car is faster than that, that is a bold statement to prove why this car is easily my favourite from the Porsche pack, and possibly one of my favourites from this whole DLC, from this whole month of DLC, including the brand new one that just came out. So that will be the end review of the Porsche DLC. I'll leave you with the end of this Abu Dhabi lap. Thank you very much for watching. I've won the videos, and I will be putting up a full review of every car from the actual March DLC pack very soon. I'll see you then, guys. Goodbye.